My decision is irrevocable. I'll remain in Berlin. Anything else, Herr Professor Gebhardt?
Well, in fact, my Führer, there is this new appointment of mine. The Reichsführer told me of your possible intention. You see, I mean to appoint me as head of the German Red Cross. As the Reichsführer's personal doctor, I have always carried out the most delicate orders to the letter. I have prepared hundreds of special treatments for dangerous prisoners. I have always been one of the most ardent advocates of experimentation on human guinea pigs. Results with animals aren't really reliable. The concentration camps offer such vast human material that it seems a pity not to use it for the perfecting of German medicine. My gas gangrene experiments were acclaimed a success, as were the bone grafting experiments on Polish prisoners, the tests with poisoned bullets, the sterilization of people belonging to inferior races. And that is why the Reichsführer thought that I would be the right man to take over the German Red Cross. But if you think... So then, you won't confirm it?
I confirm it. You have done excellent work for the Third Reich.
To many people, the cure for any social crisis is law and order and the strong man. To a defeated Germany after the First World War, parliamentary democracy had reaped nothing but inflation, unemployment, and famine. The energies of the left and right were spent in street brawls, and the great exhausted population in the middle came to yearn for one thing, if not for law, at least for order. They looked for the strong man and found him in Adolf Hitler, a moody Austrian painter and agitator who put military uniforms on his Nazi party and in January 1933 took over as Chancellor from the Republic's senile war hero, Hindenburg. He'd had only 40% of the vote, but by bluster and intrigue, he intimidated the rest and offered the wavering industrialists a choice: support him or else. Well, he was something of an hysteric. If he went too far, they could always get rid of him. After all, as one of them said, what's more important, Germany or a few Jews? They would use him as a pawn. Within a year, the pawn turned into the king. Hitler promised to revive a Germany of pure Aryan blood, to enslave the Jews and smash the international communists. He smashed communism all right, and along with it, the trade unions, free speech, and the coalition that had kept him going. And he started his purifying ritual, which ended in the exile or slaughter of 6 million Jews.
Die Partei ist Hitler! Hitler aber ist Deutschland, wie Deutschland Hitler ist! Hitler! Sieg! Sieg! Sieg!
By 1938, within 5 years of the Nazis' emergence as a major party, Hitler was the only party, the only leader, and he had 90% of Germany behind him. He now prepared to expand his Third Reich to embrace Europe and then the world. He promised that his Aryan Empire would last 1,000 years. price of liquidating this methodical maniac was 30 million dead and the devastation of Europe. By the spring of 1945, the Russians were closing in on Berlin. But the Führer, beneath 60 feet of concrete, went on disposing the armies that weren't there and living out his pathological daydream of conquering the world.
I didn't go to a military academy, but I read Clausewitz and Marker. I didn't even go to a cadet school, but single-handedly, I conquered Europe and half Russia.
People of Germany, this is your Minister of Propaganda, Joseph Goebbels. Today, April 20th, our Führer is 56 years old. It would not be fitting to celebrate the Führer's birthday with the traditional words and greetings. We can only say that the times in which we live have found in the Führer the only man worthy of their tragic grandeur, their sad and painful majesty. We thus have to thank him, and only him, for the fact that Germany is still alive this day.
Heil Hitler.
Hauptmann Hoffmann, Army Group Vistula.
Pass.
Heil Hitler.
Heil Hitler.
Please take off your pistol, your cap, and your coat.
Heil Hitler.
Heil Hitler.
Hauptmann Hoffmann, Army Group Vistula.
Papers? I am not quite clear as to the reasons for your presence, Herr Hauptmann.
I was summoned by the Army Chief of Staff to give a report on the situation of the 3rd Panzer Army.
You'll have to wait.
But I was ordered to report to General Krebs instantly on arrival, Herr Standartenführer.
He's in there with the rest of them, paying their respects. It's the Führer's birthday.
Herr Führer.
Long life and health, my Führer.
My Führer, on behalf of the entire SS and from the depths of a faithful heart, I extend greetings.
In your name, under your leadership, my Führer, we shall be victorious, as always.
Delicious.
If it doesn't fall in the middle.
Give me something for my breath, Fräulein Manziali. Tonight of all nights, I don't want him to know I've been smoking. Thank you. God, it's bitter. Give me something to drink, yes, Fräulein Manziali?
Is Frau Dr. Goebbels coming to the birthday party too, Fräulein
Of
Braun?
course. Poor creature. I really feel sorry for her. Her marriage is a complete farce, in spite of all those children. Oh, well. that all right?
Frankly, Fräulein Brown, the Führer doesn't like the smell of alcohol any more than tobacco.
Please call Frau Christian and make sure she's coming. And Fräulein Junge, too.
In Italy, General Alexander's army has entered Bologna. On the Western Front, in the north, the English have reached the outskirts of Bremen and Hamburg. In the central zone, the Americans have crossed the Elbe between Magdeburg and Dessau. To the south, the French have penetrated to the banks of the upper Danube.
This officer, my Führer, has come from Headquarters Army Group Bristol to give an up-to-date report on 3rd Panzer Army.
Following the advance of the enemy armored divisions, our forces tried to regroup on the right flank of the 3rd Panzer Army, on the line Freienwalde-Eberswalde, here. Excuse me, my Führer. Following that advance, the 3rd Panzer Army has engaged the enemy from here. Obergruppenführer Steiner, with his troops, is trying to hold the line between Falkenthal and Löwenberg.
Since the 9th Army is already overtaken on both flanks by the Russians, by more than 100 kilometers, the question arises, my Führer, whether or not to order its retreat to prevent its complete encirclement.
No. My Führer, without moving or interposing the 9th Army, we may not be able to prevent a meeting of Russian and American forces, which would mean that the division of Germany into two would be complete.
When do you conceive that such an event could take place, Herr Field Marshal?
Jodl, according to your calculations...
Well, it isn't easy to estimate in terms of time. However, I'd say it cannot be a question of more than days.
How many days?
Crepes, according to your latest information, how many days?
I am still waiting for reports from a number of divisional commands in the probable area of junction.
There will be no junction. I shall prevent it. I'll tell you one thing, gentlemen. When Stalin decided to attack Berlin, he made the most colossal mistake of his life. I assure you that in front of Berlin, the Russians will suffer the bloodiest defeat in recorded history. Thank you. Thank you, all of you.
And now, my Führer, Frau Christian and Fräulein Junge have a present for you.
Presents, too? How very thoughtful. You all spoil me. Oh. What exquisite workmanship.
Thank you, my Führer.
What loving care has gone into this. Love and devotion to a man are the highest virtues in a woman. Intelligence is not very important. My mother was certainly no genius, but she gave a great son to the German people. Well done, Fräulein Manziali.
My Führer, my wife and I would be most honored if you would accept this small gift from us both.
Thank you, Goebbels. Thank you, Mac. The original score of Wagner's greatest opera, The Twilight of the Gods.
I'm afraid it's only a reproduction, my Führer.
You know, Goebbels, despite all our national Keep Fit campaigns, some of our most talented singers allow themselves to become absurdly fat. It takes away half the joy of going to the opera. The German people will only reach the point of absolute racial superiority when Wagner's operas can be performed by all our singers completely naked. Right, Manziali. This cake is really excellent, but I eat too much of it.
A very happy birthday, my Führer.
Thank you. Thank you, Fegelein, for your little gift. I must say, at least one breathes good, clean air down here in the bunker. I'm sure that all of you, following my orders not to smoke, feel a lot better and are grateful to me. I think how many famous men have been drugged by tobacco. And think of that inveterate drunkard Churchill, dragging his country and all Europe down to ruin before the Bolshevik avalanche while he puffs at his fat cigar, egged on by Roosevelt with that ridiculous cigarette holder. Apart from which I always regarded Roosevelt as a madman, guilty of the worst crimes under international law. I have never at any time permitted my foreign guests to smoke in my presence. And I've often been able to reap enormous advantages from it. Remember the pathetic Austrian Chancellor, Schuschnigg? Before we took over, I summoned him to a meeting. He loved to smoke, but... So I settled the question of Austria in the most satisfactory way and in record time, all because the fellow was going mad for a cigarette. We shall colonize Russia with Germans, German farmers, living on settlements. The Russians will be taught to count up to 100 and read road signs. Nothing more. We'll provide them with music, of course, as much as they want. On the radio. It's good fortune for the government that the masses don't think. Otherwise, human society, as we know it, might cease to exist.
Eva, can I speak to you as a brother-in-law? Now you're the only one with any influence over the Führer, the only one who can persuade him for his own safety to transfer to the Obersalzberg. Now just think, we can all be together again.
You overestimate me, Hermann. He never allows anyone to make up his mind, except himself. I've never tried or wanted to.
Surely, in a matter of life and death.
Yet above all, he must decide for himself. And decide for me too, come to that. Because I'll be with him. Come on, Dr. Goebbels, dance. Even though the Führer has to work, he wants us to enjoy ourselves.
Come on here, Hauptmann, have a drink.
I must tell you the most marvelous story. 2 weeks ago, I was walking along Unter den Linden. Saw from behind a brother officer. Thought, it's Sitzwitz. So I called out, hello, Sitzwitz. He turned round, wasn't Sitzwitz at all. I never laughed so much in all my life.
You're really the most incredible person. Even with the situation as it is, you can still think of the future. Your art. Oh, my dearest, darling little wolf.
Wars and men come and go, Ava. What remains are the great buildings. The Colosseum, the Parthenon, the pyramids. I have a small structural problem. See? The colonnade outside the Linz Opera House. I don't want it to interrupt the monumental scale of the entrance to the foyer. If only Speer were here. He understands these things. We could have discussed it.
What a pity for the world. You couldn't have devoted your life to art.
The Russians have broken through 15 kilometers south of Zossen, near Baruth.
Their advance must be stopped immediately.
The fact is, we have no reserves in this area, my Führer.
What about your headquarters company here, Krebs?
Indeed. What about it, Krebs?
You're right, my Führer. The men are fresh and well equipped, but there are only 250 of them.
What have numbers got to do with it? You generals think only in numbers. When I started my National Socialist Party, it had less than 250 members, opposed to 60 million citizens. When in 1936, I marched into the Rhineland, I was told it couldn't work. Our little army of 100,000 against the 2 million strong army of France. In 1938, I was warned how dangerous it would be to march into Austria, our enemies so greatly outnumbered us. The same year, I was told that my policy towards the Czechs would mean the ruin of Germany because of the vast armies which might oppose us. Despite the sizes of their armies, we swallowed Poland and France, sent the English reeling back across the Channel, overran the Balkans, took Athens, and pushed the Russians to the shores of the Caspian Sea. The gods give their love only to those who demand the impossible. Mankind is ruled by will, by determination. When the will is thrust by genius, it generates a force which throughout history has proved irresistible. Order your company to counterattack.
Yes, my Führer.
The whole population of Berlin, including the women, must start work immediately, digging 3 lines of anti-tank ditches in all the streets of the suburbs.
The work has already begun, my Führer. However, I have little faith in the commander of our forces in the capital, General Reimann. He's too cautious, too scrupulous. I don't think he's a National Socialist.
Or maybe he's a traitor.
No, my Führer. Reimann's not a traitor.
He's a highly experienced officer.
I don't want experience. I want a man of iron will and total obedience. General Reimann is relieved of his command. What do you say to Oberstleutnant Bärenfänger?
Unless I'm mistaken, Bärenfänger is only 27 years old.
Exactly. He won't have any prejudices. He'll simply carry out orders. I declare Berlin a fortress. I appoint Bärenfänger commander of Fortress Berlin.
My Führer, it is my duty to point out that Berlin is not yet sufficiently equipped to withstand a siege. It may be a fortress, but it's a fortress with 2 million civilians inside it, all of whom must be fed.
I cannot at this historic moment be concerned with the welfare of civilians.
Excuse me, my Führer. General Oberst Heinrizi has just reported the Ninth Army is now encircled. He asks for permission, while there is still time, to order a sortie and have the army break through towards Berlin.
The Ninth Army stops where it is. Even if it is surrounded, it must stop where it is. General Heinrizi is a defeatist and a critic. He understands nothing of strategy. He's relieved of his command, is that clear? Zhukov's forces around Oranienburg must be cut off and annihilated.
What divisions are you thinking of using, my Führer?
Steiner. Obergruppenführer Steiner's army corps must attack at once. He won't fail. He's an SS officer.
My Führer, SS Obergruppenführer Steiner's forces were intended to defend the open flank of the 3rd Panzer Army.
I will not have my assault troops, my SS, used for defensive purposes. General Krebs, order Steiner to instigate an attack forthwith.
Yes, my Führer.
24 hours at the most. Steiner will have cut off the Russians from their bases. I have sworn to the German people. Not one Russian who has dared approach our capital will recross the Oder alive. I cannot be wrong. Everything I do and everything I say is history. What is your name?
Hauptmann Hoffmann, my Führer.
General Krebs, I want your own adjutant to take the orders to Steiner in person.
Yes, my Führer.
This young officer will be your personal adjutant from now on. And will stay here in the bunker.
I'm sorry, Hoffmann. I had no idea.
I consider it a great honor to be at the side of the Führer.
Are you married? Do you have any children?
No, Herr General.
Is there anything I can do for you? Any wish?
I don't think so, thank you.
But you realize what staying in the bunker means, hmm?
Yes, Herr General.
Get yourself a schnapps. I'm having vermin.
Well, Hoffmann, you seem to have made a very positive impression on the Führer. My congratulations. If there's anything I can do to make you feel at home here, just let me know.
It's the only hope we have.
There's not a hope. Steiner has no forces to mount an attack. It's my opinion that the moment has come to tell the truth.
You and the Führer one fine morning to find the Russians in his bedroom?
We cannot take the responsibility any longer of remaining silent and lie to the Führer.
Perhaps you are right. The moment has come to speak openly to the Führer. Tomorrow, at the briefing.
No, not tomorrow. We must speak to him now.
What are you implying?
The fact is, my Führer, that Steiner's army corps has not yet been fully deployed.
I have studied the maps. Steiner is perfectly capable of attacking.
Steiner has established headquarters, and a vanguard has taken up position. It will take at least 3 days.
I will not listen to defeatist talk. Steiner must attack now. And I hold you responsible to see that he does. Have you dined yet?
Not yet, my Führer.
Order yourselves a good dinner. Tonight you won't get much rest. Thank you very much, gentlemen. General Koller. General Koller, where are the searchlights I ordered the Luftwaffe to transport from Prague to Berlin? Very well. We will do without the searchlights. And without the Luftwaffe as well. The entire Luftwaffe High Command will be liquidated after Steiner's attack.
That traitor Stauffenberg. He had put a briefcase with a bomb inside, right beside the Führer. It exploded at his feet. The next day he sent me the uniform he'd been wearing. Nothing but tatters and holes. You'd never believe the man wearing it could still be alive. A true miracle. It feels nice. Of course, I still don't know why I didn't faint when I undid the parcel.
Dear God, how terrible. You look beautiful, Fräulein Braun.
The Führer always hated dowdy and ugly women. When he first became Chancellor, he wanted all the state ministers, ambassadors, and so on to come to the receptions, not with their dull wives, but with film stars and actresses. But the wives made a fuss, and in the end the idea had to be given up. What do you say? Shall we give it another little touch of blonde? Just around the neck?
Heil Hitler. Heil Hitler. Well, we've just had a message from the Reichsführer. Steiner's attack has begun.
Well, that's wonderful. How far have they got here, Gruppenführer?
10 kilometers.
But the bastard's on the run now, Hoffman.
Proves how right the Führer was.
Yeah.
You have taken quite enough of those pills, my Führer. Dr. Morell is poisoning you.
I shall stop the moment the war is over. I shall only occupy myself with the city of Linz, where I first discovered my artistic talents. I'll make Linz a metropolis, the cultural center of the world, with the world's greatest operas. And in Linz, I'll build the highest bell tower in the world. It will rise above a great crypt, which will contain my tomb.
But I trust you will continue to guide us with your advice, my Führer.
I doubt if I shall have time to give advice. Pity you're not an artist, my dear Bormann. You wouldn't understand what it means for a man to have sacrificed his vocation so that he could restore law and order to his country and save his fatherland. Well, Fegelein, what news of Steiner's advance?
Nothing since the Reichsführer's message, my Führer.
Every time I look Frederick the Great in the eyes and think what he suffered, it's like a religious experience. But I've learned from your mistakes. I shall not yield to the pity you showed your enemies. Till a few years ago, I thought of making a clean sweep of all European Jews and lumping them on Madagascar or some other island. But today, I'm sure it's far better to exterminate them right on the spot wherever you find them.
The Russian southern wedge has penetrated towards the line Truhen-Brietzen-Teltow. In the north, the Russians have passed Oranienburg. Encirclement of Berlin should be complete within a day. 2 days at the most.
I want to know the whereabouts of Obergruppenführer Steiner and his army corps. I still haven't heard a single word about the attack I ordered.
My Führer, SS Obergruppenführer Steiner managed to advance 3 kilometers. But his 3 divisions are formed of detachments he scraped up from the highways. Anyone he could lay hands on, men not equipped for active service. The Russians have at least 50 well-armed divisions. To attack them with any conceivable hope of success, Steiner would have to have a minimum of 20 or 30 divisions of men who are both fresh and well-armed. That is why Steiner halted the attack.
I wish to speak to Krebs, Keitel, Burgdorf, Jodl, and Bormann. The rest of you, leave the room.
An order of mine has not been executed. You lied to me. I've been betrayed. Everyone has betrayed me, even the SS. Traitors and cowards, every one of you. You, the chiefs of the General Staff.
Must insist that there are no grounds for such an accusation.
You've spent years in military academies, and all you've learned is how to hold a knife and fork. But you understand nothing about the job of soldiering. I didn't go to a military academy, but I read Clausewitz and Moltke. I didn't even go to a cadet school, but single-handed, I conquered Europe and half Russia. And now you dare to disobey. Cowards! Traitors and cowards! You've been the ruin of me and the ruin of the German people. For this, all of you, same as all the other traitors of Bay. You saw the film I made of the executions, and how General von Witzleben's trousers fell down when they started hauling him up to a meat hook with piano wire. Well, you'll pay for this with your blood. I'll have you hanged, shot, quartered. I'll drown you in your own blood. Get out. I shall stay in Berlin. I shall put myself at the head of my troops and defend Berlin by myself. I'll do the fighting. Lost. I must kill myself. My Third Reich.
Have you any orders for me, Herr General?
None. Wait. Herr General Oberstjodl, what orders should be given?
It's Field Marshal Cattle's duty to issue orders.
Really, the situation is very complex. Bormann, you have always been so close to the Führer. Why?
But I'm not in a position to make military decisions. After all, you're the chief of the Supreme Command of the Armed Forces.
Gentlemen, it would be madness for any of us to make decisions. All we can do is wait.
There is no time to wait. Somebody must tell the Führer that by his behavior as a member of the armed forces, he could be charged with desertion. Bormann, you are his right hand.
I wouldn't even know how to begin raising an issue like that.
Then may I suggest asking Reich Marshal Goering for orders?
Where is Dr. Goebbels? The best thing is to get hold of his old party friends and comrades. Ley, Rosenberg, Todt.
Todt? Dr. Todt has been dead for years, Herr General.
I'm sorry, that of course I knew. I meant to say Minister Speer.
What about those, my Führer?
Oh, these we shall save, Fräulein Braun. Future generations must know exactly what I look like. I don't want to happen to me what happened to Christ. I don't want fanciful artists depicting me with red hair or a beard or any nonsense like that. Listen to this. It's the horoscope drawn up by Dr. Berendt. He was a scholar, a friend of Himmler. It dates from 1930. War will break out in 1939 and will mark great victories for Germany until 1943. Then come years of defeat. The hardest blows will be struck in the first months of 1945. In the second half of April, there will be a series of fateful events, great events for Germany, which will precede a period of calm until the first days of August, when peace will be concluded. During the 3 years which will follow, Germany will live through a hard period, but from 1948 on, it will arise again in triumph.
My Führer! A Swiss radio station has just reported that at the moment of junction between the Russian and American forces near Torgau, violent arguments broke out between the commanders of the two armies. The Russians have accused the Americans of breaking the agreements. It appears there has been some shooting.
I knew it would happen. Only an idiot like Churchill would believe in an alliance with the Bolsheviks. None of you understood when I refused to allow our armies to retreat. There's the reason. Wouldn't the German people, wouldn't history itself, brand me a criminal if I concluded the peace at the very moment the struggle has begun between ultra-Marxists and ultra-capitalists for the possession of Germany? We still have considerable forces in Norway and Italy and Bohemia. We can wait for the inevitable conflict between the Russians and the English and Americans, and I shall be the referee. Thank you. You have brought good news. Thanks, Army, here on the Elbe, southwest of Berlin. It must be disengaged from the Americans.
Yes, my friend.
It must fight its way to Berlin. The 12th Army is my own personal creation, and I have faith in General Wenck. What is the situation of the 9th Army?
Still waiting around Frankfurt and Oder.
The 9th Army must be prepared immediately to attack west to join forces with Wenck.
If you will allow me, my Führer, I shall go to General Wenck personally to coordinate the meeting between him and the 9th.
Jodl, you will take charge of the attack in the area of Oranienburg.
Yes, my Führer.
I shall leave immediately, my Führer.
No. First, you must have something to eat. I know there are people who are so fired by their enthusiasm for the resurrection of Germany that they look upon me as a second Messiah. I must point out to all these good people, with the utmost humility, that I am not a Messiah. A genius, but not a Messiah. You see me, Fräulein Braun, as Jesus Christ? From 1923 until today, I have been the slave of my concern for the well-being of the German people. That is why I had to give up all ideas of marriage. Had I been married, there would be moments when I would be forced to say to my wife, "My dear, you can only take second place." And I should have seen the suffering in her eyes. That is why it is better that I should never marry.
My Führer.
Better to have a mistress. Naturally, that applies only to exceptional men. I don't think a man like me should ever marry.
radio message has just reached us from Reichsmarschall Goering.
Oh, there was someone we haven't heard from.
My Führer, in view of your decision to remain at your post in the fortress of Berlin, do you agree that I take over total leadership of the Reich with full freedom of action at home and abroad as your deputy, in accordance with your decree of 29th June 1941? Query. If I should receive no reply by 10 p.m. this evening, I shall infer that you have been deprived of your freedom of action. Stop. May God protect you and speed you here safely in spite of all. Stop. Signed, your loyal Hermann Goering.
Here's the telegram.
Unbelievable. Goering is a traitor, my Führer. He has sent telegrams to all the members of the cabinet to inform them that unless he hears otherwise, he will take your place at midnight. It is an ultimatum. It amounts to a coup d'etat. Open rebellion.
It's not enough that the swine has betrayed his fatherland. Now he has to betray you.
I've known it for a long time. A long time. I knew that Goering was rotten. He corrupted the entire Luftwaffe. He's been taking morphine for years. I've known it a long time.
He must be shot. At once, my Führer.
No, not that. We must not supply the world with any propaganda against National Socialism. But I remove him from all his offices. And the right to succession.
When it's May, smell the air, sweet with blossom everywhere. If you feel old and grey, you'll feel young in May. Nature's favourite time is when living things begin again. That is why people say there's no month like May.
May.
Since the first light of day, the Russians have been attacking on all sides. At 10 o'clock, they succeeded in cutting the road between Berlin and Nabu, our only remaining outlet to the west. Berlin is completely surrounded. We can still communicate with the outside world by means of an underground telephone cable. It is, however, the only one which is intact.
Where's Wenck?
Wenck's 12th Army still hasn't succeeded in forming a continuous front, nor in gathering the requisite strength for the attack on Berlin.
My Führer, I have been informed that Tempelhof Airport, as a result of intensive enemy artillery fire, has been put out of action.
Since the first hours of this morning, my Führer, a work battalion of 1,000 men has been working to transform the East-West Avenue on either side of the Victory Column into a landing strip.
By his failure to defend the airport, it is obvious that Ehrenfinger is incompetent. He must be replaced.
It isn't easy, my Führer. 3 commanding officers have already failed in 1 week. In my opinion, the best remaining choice is General Weitling.
Very well. I nominate General Weitling, commander of Fortress Berlin. Have him report to me. Krebs, I'm disappointed in the 9th Army. Order General Busser to advance more rapidly, regardless of losses. The Russians must find themselves attacked from all sides. Then Wenck will be able to enter Berlin in 4 days' time. Von Bellow, I want Luftwaffe General Ritter von Greim to fly here from Munich immediately.
My Führer, that will mean detaching an entire fighter wing to protect him, and we've very few operational aircraft left.
He is to present himself tomorrow morning.
Yes, my Führer.
What was that?
Gauleiter Wegner, my Führer, asking you to consider a partial surrender to the English and Americans to reinforce our anti-Russian front and to avoid as he puts it, the twofold devastation of Germany.
I do not intend to avoid devastation. The German people have proved themselves too feeble to face the test of history. They're only fit to be destroyed. Let them go down in a sea of flames. A Viking funeral of the Reich.
Hannah Reich. Bravo, Herr General. My God, this calls for a celebration. Drink to it, Herr Hauptmann.
We've got an airfield right in the heart of Berlin. Well, perhaps this is the miracle we've been waiting for.
Hi, my dear.
Hi, Mike. How is our patient, Herr Doctor?
You're doing well, my Führer.
Thank you for coming, von Greim. Well done, Hannah Reich. You have saved the life of one of my finest soldiers. Thank you. It was an excellent idea to bring her along.
Bring her? She would let me come here alone.
We have been in and out of the clouds together for years.
I know. A very charming companion and a true and gallant friend.
I really came to Berlin to see you again, my Führer.
Do you know why I asked you here?
No, my Führer. Absolutely not.
Because Hermann Goering has betrayed me and his fatherland. He has sent me a treasonable telegram. A telegram to remind me that at one time I named him my successor. Now read it for yourself.
I'm so happy to be here, my Führer. I mean, we are loyal. Just as we were the first day.
A vulgar ultimatum. There is no bitterness, no betrayal that has not been heaped upon me.
My life is at your entire disposal, my Führer. Unfortunately, it's now the life of an invalid. But I shall do everything in my power to carry out any order you may give me. Tell me, my Führer, what you want me to do.
General Oberst Ritter von Greim, I appoint you Commander-in-Chief of the Luftwaffe with the rank of General Field Marshal. In the name of the German people, I give you my hand.
I'm deeply honored, my Führer. But why did you summon me here from Munich?
To tell you of your appointment, Herr Field Marshal.
The Führer wanted to look into your eyes, to feel your loyalty by personal contact, to console him in this moment of great, great bitterness.
Fräulein Reich has understood perfectly.
Thank you, my Führer.
Careful, Herr General Field Marshal. The wound has only just been stitched.
I am certain, Dr. Stumpfegger, that merely by being in the presence of our Führer, the Field Marshal is cured already.
Yes, of course. Well, almost at least. My Führer, you wish me to stay here with you in Berlin?
No, von Greim, you must go back, both of you, to take up your command. I want everything to be just so before you leave. I shall send you my personal tailor to make your Field Marshal's uniform.
Thank you, my Führer.
I'd be very happy if you'll both join me for tea later on.
Thank you, my Führer.
Thank you, my Führer.
Don't worry about your flying suit. Why don't the two of you get married?
My Führer, the General and I are comrades. Flyers and comrades. Besides, I don't believe in marriage. When one has other interests in life which take first place. I am not bourgeois enough for marriage.
I appreciate your point of view, Fräulein Reich.
I still can't understand why he made me come here. It's all very well, but we lost 43 planes.
Welcome, welcome.
Thank you, my Führer. Magda.
Hannah, how wonderful to see you.
Thank you.
May I introduce Fräulein Braun?
Something to drink, Fräulein?
Yes, thank you. I would love some tea.
Well done. It's good to see you here.
Well done, Lockhart. Now, Fräulein Reich, we're all anxiously waiting to hear of your flight to Berlin, aren't we, Fräulein Braun?
Yes. I'm sure it will be fascinating.
Not exactly the ideal word for it. Still. We started out from Rechlin Airfield, packed into a single-seater Focke-Wulf 190, and flew to Berlin-Gatow. General von Greim refused to leave without me.
He has a noble heart.
He pushed me into the fuselage through the safety hatch. There were 50 fighter planes in the sky to keep the enemy off. I myself saw over 40 of them shot down. Then we landed at Gatow, we got into a Fischler-Storch trainer, and roof-hopped towards the Brandenburg Gate. Over the Grunewald, we took some bullets. One of them shattered the general's leg. It was touch and go.
Fräulein Reich is an amazing woman.
I crawled forward, grabbed the controls, and managed to put down on the main east-west avenue.
Incredible. But how absolutely marvelous. You are an amazing woman, Fräulein Reich. The Führer is right. Will you be staying here with us now?
No. Fräulein Reich must fly back to Munich with the Commander-in-Chief of the Luftwaffe. He has to take personal charge of organizing air cover for the Wenk offensive. Where is Fegelein, Fräulein Braun? Have you seen him today?
No, my Führer.
He must arrange for the departure of the Field Marshal and the faithful Hannah.
This Fräulein Braun. She and the Führer. She's so bourgeois. She's not a bit like a National Socialist. The way she dresses and her hair.
They've been together for 10 years.
You mean that they're really...
Really lovers? Yes, I suppose they are.
To think that I thought he was above those things. Sex.
The hospitals and first aid posts in the underground are overflowing with wounded. Food and even water ran out days ago.
What about Wenk? If he reached Ferst this morning, by now he must have covered the last 6 miles to Potsdam. He will have linked up with our troops down there.
There's been no communication since 10 this morning. The field telephone and radio transmitter are no longer in operation. We must wait for General Weidling.
Any further news about the situation between the Americans and the Russians on the Elbe?
No, my Führer. Obviously, Allied censorship is blocking every reference to it.
That's a good sign. Means it's serious. It's even possible they are already fighting. The danger point is the Hafel bridgeheads. They are the only access to the city open to Wenk's army. They must be held at all costs. The Hitler Youth. I order that the entire forces of the Hitler Youth be concentrated to secure the Hafel bridgeheads to the last drop of blood.
They're only children, my Führer. They're full of fight and courage, true enough, but they're not trained for combat. It will be a massacre.
Many will die, I know, but millions of German soldiers have already died. The age you die doesn't matter. When you die to gain time for your fatherland, the valor of these 15-year-olds dying in their thousands, holding out until the arrival of Wenk, is the most solid guarantee for the safety of Berlin. Pass on my orders immediately, and I'll send along Gruppenführer Fegelein with 2 boxes of iron crosses for the boys who fight most heroically. Where is Fegelein?
I haven't seen him for 2 days, my Führer.
Have them find him.
Hi, my Führer. General Weidling, military commander of Berlin, reporting.
News of Wenck's army?
Wenck's army, my Führer, is too weak to hold the area which is captured south of Potsdam. It cannot hope to penetrate into the center of Berlin. Yet the forces of the city garrison are still strong enough to make a sortie and join up with Wenck. By so doing, we shall prevent the sacred capital of the Reich from becoming a battle.
General Krebs, I repeat my orders.
And the orders for the Hitler Youth?
You have no faith in the young, General Krebs, but I have. Those boys will save Berlin with their lives and the honor of Germany. Thank you, gentlemen.
I swear to you, my Führer, I had no intention of betraying you. The only reason I went home was to get some civilian clothes so that I could get across the lines without being noticed. My sole intention was to join Wenck. You must believe me, my Führer. I even found a woman to help me across the lines. She speaks a little Russian, you see. I wanted to be personally sure that Wenck was obeying his orders. Wasn't proving to be a traitor like Steiner and all the rest of the army.
Degrade.
It's a dispatch from British Reuters. Attempted secret peace negotiations have been in progress for some days in Stockholm with the British and American governments, according to Swedish mediator Count Bernadotte. The apparently unauthorized negotiations were initiated by German Reichsführer Heinrich Himmler.
Somebody will have to tell the Führer.
Nobody could find the right words better than you.
I think in the circumstances you would be the best person.
I don't agree. General Krebs. To my mind, it's up to you.
Me? But why me? It isn't a military question.
Lorenz, U-boat is here. Simply take it to the Führer and hand it to him.
Herr Minister, I really had very little personal contact with the Führer.
Wait. I think I have an even better idea.
It's Himmler. Now they've all betrayed the Führer. Himmler, too. They've all abandoned the Führer. Poor. He must live. The others can die. All the others, all of them. But he must live.
He was nobody. Everything he ever had he got from me. That drug addict Goering, that didn't surprise me, but Himmler, my faithful Heinrich, I believed in him. For me, he became the symbol of German loyalty, and now he's plunged a dagger in my back. Why? Why him? Why Fegelein, Goering, Rommel, Klüger, and all the others? Why? I know why. Because no ordinary man dare reach to my heights. Not even Speer, and Speer's a genius too. But not great enough to even understand my genius. Sometimes wonder whether destiny was not mistaken in placing the German people in my hands. Perhaps the English would have understood me better. They're Nordic Aryans like us, and they don't breed traitors. The Germans are a nation of whores. None of them deserves me. They haven't allowed me to do what I wanted to do for them, and so they must be punished. And it is destiny which will punish them, because when I am no longer here, no German will be able to bear the disgrace and the grief of my loss. They shall live in misery, in the blackest remorse and poverty, for a century. In 100 years' time, perhaps, a great man will appear who may offer them a chance of salvation. He will take me as his model, use my ideas, and follow the course I have charted.
Perhaps there is some good in all this, my Führer. Now that all the traitors are unmasked, we finally know who we can really count on.
Fegelein! I'm sure he was in this with Himmler. An SS plot to assassinate me and sell my body to the Allies! Fegelein is a traitor, a conspirator with Himmler. There can be no pity for him. Remember Mussolini and Ciano. Ciano was his son-in-law, and Mussolini shot him without hesitation when I asked him to.
You're the Führer. Whatever you decide is right. Family considerations don't count. Now, Adolf, please don't look at me now. I never want you to see me ugly.
Hey! Where are you going?
Anti-aircraft auxiliary to die Hartung Heil Hitler.
What are you doing here?
I've come to collect the photographs for the Hitler Youth.
Photographs? What photographs are you talking about?
Reichsjugendführer Axmann sent me to collect the photographs signed by the Führer to be distributed to the fighting boys defending the bridges.
Take shelter in that doorway. I'll see what I can do. Here you are. 100 signed photographs.
Thanks.
These any use? You can take the packet. And these.
Don't you smoke?
Hardly ever. Good luck.
Same to you, Herr Hauptmann.
dear Colin. You mustn't talk like that. You mustn't despair. Everything will come out all right. Yes, sir. I used to think like that, too. The presence of the Führer and his confidence are a continual source of inspiration. For me, my stay here is like drinking at the fountain of youth. Heil Hitler. Dear Hannah. How wrong I was to think that this trip wasn't important. Now I know why the Führer wanted me in Berlin. It would even have been worth losing my leg. See, only from here can you get a clear picture.
This is the boy I told you about. He blew up a Stalin tank single-handed.
You're a good soldier. Are the bridges holding?
I think so. Losses are heavy. They say over 5,000 in the last 3 days.
Good boy. Go back and fight. However, I have no desire to impose conditions on anybody. I've always respected the wishes of my collaborators. If any of you are not in agreement, you are at liberty to say so.
Allow me to speak on behalf of my wife and myself. Our doubts only concern the way. How to do it, not what we are going to do.
What of your children?
We can't abandon them at a time like this. To leave them in a world without you, my Führer, would be like forcing them to live in hell. On an earth without sunshine.
You're right. It's the right thing to do.
But in such a way, they won't know.
Cyanide, Fräulein Braun. 3 seconds and it's all over. Isn't that correct, Dr. Stumpfeder?
Yes, indeed. Except for the extreme cases of Mithridatism or biological reject.
Which reminds me, Ava, I must stop taking those pills Dr. Morell gave me. I don't want a repetition in my case of what happened to Mithridates, king of Pontus. He kept taking small doses of poison to build up his resistance. In order to kill him, they had to resort to God knows what in the end.
Fräulein Reich and I had already considered jumping out of an airplane over Berlin. But then we thought that was a bit theatrical.
Von Greim and I shall die in each other's arms.
That's beautiful, Fräulein Reich. You mean simply hold on to each other and...
No. She'll hold a hand grenade between us and then take out the pin.
Magnificent. You understand, Fräulein Braun?
Yes. I would only be afraid of being disfigured.
Charmingly feminine.
It's many years since I've had time to be charmingly feminine, my Führer.
You still haven't heard the intention of our good Fräulein Manciani.
If those pig-faced Russians come here, I shall turn on the gas and die at my battle station, the kitchen.
But the kitchen here is electric, Fräulein Manciani.
I'll electrocute myself then. I'll shoot. I'll kill them first before I kill myself.
I've heard that the best place to shoot oneself is in the mouth.
But then I couldn't die with my Führer's name upon my lips.
That's true. The heart, then.
Not safe. Your hand is only to tremble as you press the trigger, and the shot could go wide.
That is why I shall seek death in battle, my Führer, when the time comes.
I don't agree, Bogdov. You run the risk of being taken prisoner, tortured, and forced to betray your oath. You, Bormann?
It's something I keep thinking about over and over again, my Führer. I don't know whether to drown myself in the river Spree or throw myself under one of my men's bayonets.
Like Nero.
History holds no secrets with you, my Führer.
What about you, my Führer? What have you decided for yourself?
I shall use cyanide and my pistol. Finally, my driver, Kemke, will have the task of pouring petrol over my body and setting it on fire.
That's a good idea, the petrol. After we poison the children, Magda, we'd better follow the same course.
I'm afraid, my dear Goebbels, you may have difficulty in finding enough petrol. I've had some put away for myself, and also for you, Fräulein Braun.
Thank you, my Führer.
I'm happy to say there is no shortage of cream in the bunker. Every aircraft must be used to destroy the Russian tanks advancing on the bunker. We must gain time to let the Allies fight it out among themselves. The moment you reach staff headquarters, have Himmler arrested. In no circumstances whatever must he be allowed to succeed me as Führer. A traitor like that must be obliterated and swept from the face of the earth.
For the last time, my Führer, won't you allow us to stay here by your side?
Thank you. No.
The plane's ready for takeoff, Herr Field Marshal, but the area's under fire and can't be held much longer.
My Führer, your hospitality has overwhelmed me. These 2 days have been unforgettable. I shall do everything in my power to save the Third Reich and yourself.
Have a safe journey.
This is your Minister of Propaganda, Joseph Goebbels. In view of reports being received from certain sectors of the city, I emphasize the following warning of the Führer. If I should see a single white flag in any of the streets of Berlin, I will not hesitate to have that street totally destroyed.
Together with all its inhabitants. Come in.
Heil Hitler! Heil Hitler!
Now, Wagner. Heil Hitler. You come here in these clothes?
Well, really, I haven't got a uniform. Oh, I can't fight. I tried to volunteer, but as you know, Herr Minister, I've suffered for years from angina pectoris.
Yes, all right, that's not the problem. Don't you have a dark suit?
I'm sorry, I didn't know, you see, at this hour. I'd only just got into bed, and as you know, I have to work late.
You have come here to perform an official act.
You can't have it dressed like that. Look everywhere. Turn the bunker upside down, but find a dark suit for Herr Wagner.
Heil Hitler!
Today, April the 29th, 1945, I, City Councillor Walter Wagner, qualified official of the capital of the Reich, have received a request for an act of marriage between Adolf Hitler, born on the 20th of April, 1889, at Braunau, domiciled in Berlin, Chancellery of the Reich, publicly known and therefore not required to produce documents of identity, and Fräulein Eva Braun, born 2nd February 1910 at Munich, Wartburgstraße, presents as a document of identity this special passport issued by the Chief of the German Police Force. Now, as witnesses, Reichsminister Dr. Joseph Goebbels, Born the...
26 October, 1897.
And domiciled in Berlin.
Hermann Göringstrasse 20.
And Reichsminister Martin Bormann, born
17th of June, 1900.
and domiciled
Obersalzberg.
Both the witnesses are also publicly known and therefore have no further need of identity documents. My Führer, Fräulein Braun, is it your request that I perform a wartime marriage owing to the state of war and exceptional circumstances?
Yes.
Is it your request that the publication of the bans be made by word of mouth to prevent further delay?
Yes.
Your requests are granted. My Führer, Adolf Hitler, are you of pure Aryan origin?
Yes.
And you, Fräulein Eva Braun, are you of pure Aryan origin? Does there exist in your family, my Führer Adolf Hitler, any case of hereditary disease?
No.
And does there exist in your family, Fräulein Eva Braun, any case of hereditary?
No.
My Führer Adolf Hitler, will you take as your wedded wife Fräulein Eva Braun?
Yes.
Fräulein Eva Braun, will you take as your wedded husband my Führer Adolf Hitler?
Yes.
Did the witnesses hear?
Yes.
Well, the documents now made public by word of mouth have been verified and proved authentic. I hereby declare you man and wife for all purposes of the law.
Thank you.
Everything you most desire, my Führer. And everything you most desire, Eva dear.
Victory.
This is still the champagne brought back from Paris, Goebbels?
Yes, my Führer.
When I was a witness at your wedding, Goebbels, there was no champagne of this quality. It was before we conquered France. In Paris, there's a magnificent opera house, Eva. It's the only good thing the French achieved in the field of art. All the rest is degenerate, especially their painting. Of course, the English have no art at all. In no country in the world has Shakespeare performed so badly as in England. And they're so proud of their democracy. What have democracies ever achieved of historical importance? I mean, how many great buildings, how many monuments, how many domes have they created? Can you name me a single great army that was given birth to in a democracy? Can you tell me of any democracy which ever conquered a continent?
None, my Führer. Certainly none.
People don't want a democracy. They want to see all power concentrated in the hands of a strong man who will be able to maintain law and order. The best proof of this is the fact that National Socialism rode to power on the people's vote. I didn't make a revolution. I beat my opponents at the polls. It was the great masses who chose me. They wanted me to make decisions for them and clearly express their will. Once the people have chosen, what's the point of making them choose over and over again, year in and year out? Germany has chosen. Can I ever forget how, before I came to power, all the industrialists of Germany came to me and begged me to protect their factories and their privileges? I listened to their cries for help. I protected them. I had their war factories going full blast. And today, what happens? Where are they now?
They're all traitors, my Führer. We shall settle accounts with them soon enough.
That's why I prefer dogs to people. They're more faithful and often more intelligent. They're brave and more beautiful. Oh, what a pity Blondie must die because of all those treacherous human beings. Ava, please.
Yes.
The gifts for our guests.
Yes, Adolf.
Little personal souvenir as a memento of this day.
Thank you. Thank you, my Führer.
Each box contains 2 cyanide capsules. The same kind as my wife and I will use.
Ladies, if you will let me, I want you to have my 2 silver fox furs.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
It's not the present I was hoping to give you, my dear Magda.
You haven't got 6 more little boxes, my Führer. For my children.
Certainly. I hadn't forgotten.
Thank you, my Führer.
Magda, today, I think that you, of all women in Germany, most deserve to wear my personal party badge.
I think at this moment I'm the happiest woman in Germany.
Must be celebrating outside. Your wedding, my Führer.
Just listen to them. We've put a stop to it at once.
Leave them alone, Foreman, so long as they're not smoking. Fräulein Juncker, would you be good enough to come along with me to my room?
Of course, my Führer. My Führer, if you have any need of me.
Blondie? Ava, would you mind entertaining our guests with one of your pretty little songs?
Yes.
Come on, Frau Hitler. Dance.
Come, my woman, open another bottle of champagne. This is a feast day. When you're smiling, the whole world smiles with you. When you're laughing, the sun comes shining through. But when you're crying, it brings on the rain. So stop your sighing, be happy again. Keep on smiling, 'cause when you're smiling, the whole world smiles with you. When you're smiling, everybody, the whole world smiles with you. When you're laughing,
My final political testament.
Who cares what tomorrow may bring?
More than 30 years have passed since I made my modest contribution as a volunteer in the First World War, which Germany was forced to fight. In these 3 decades, love and loyalty to my people alone have guided me in all my thoughts and actions.
We're going to get out of this death trap now. Come along.
If we get past the SS, you must be crazy.
You must be crazy waiting for the Russian flamethrowers.
Good luck.
Our Führer, Adolf Hitler, has since this morning left the Führerbunker and placed himself at the head of the Volkssturm and Hitler Youth.
It is untrue that I or anyone else in Germany wanted war in 1939. My reasonable proposals for the solution of the German-Polish problem were rejected because the mob who were in power in England insisted on war, which will nevertheless go down in history as the most glorious and heroic manifestation of a nation's struggle for existence.
Cut in two. There's now only a frail link with the area of the Havel bridges, which is defended and held by the Hitler Youth.
What caliber are they using? Think they can destroy the bunker? You've been at the front. You should know, shouldn't you?
Probably 17.5 caliber. In my opinion, the caliber and force of impact are not sufficient to destroy the bunker.
The Russians are advancing down the Wilhelmstrasse. At this point, they can't be more than a few hundred meters away.
It's essential that my last will and testament be put into safekeeping. It's too important for the generations to come. I shall select 4 loyal officers. Send them, each with a copy of my testament, in different directions. At least one of them will get through.
My Führer, may I have the honor of being one of the 4?
I wish, Hoffman. I assign the most dangerous duty to you. You shall take my testament to Field Marshal Schörner, who is surrounded by the Russians. Lunch. Please, could somebody... only for me. My wife is not hungry. General Krebs, I've had an idea. Since the Russians can get through the tunnels of the underground and attack us from the rear, you should immediately give orders for the underwater locks of the Spree to be opened.
But, my Führer, the tunnels of the subways are now our field hospitals. There are thousands of wounded soldiers down there, thousands of women, children, old people. They would all be drowned.
At a time like this, General Krebs, there can only be one thought: National Socialism.
A little while longer.
I'd hoped to die on the 5th of May, like Napoleon. But I've been betrayed even in that. The Russians are less than 300 meters away. Not even flooding the underground has held them up.
And you're quite sure that there is no hope? Neither for you nor for Germany?
There's been no hope for 2 years, Eva. Not since the 3rd of February, 1943, when Paulus betrayed me at Stalingrad.
You knew then? In 1943?
After Stalingrad, I realized that the Germans were too weak to hold out. Since then, I've been alone. With my iron will. I had a duty to myself to persevere. I couldn't give up my struggle. I've never given up in my life.
But so many had to die. For what? If you knew that all was lost anyway.
Nature is cruel, Eva. So I too must be cruel. The lives of millions of mediocre, ordinary people are of no account. Eva, if I had offered to negotiate, if I had offered surrender, the price would have been my life. The Jews of London and Washington and Moscow were all united against me. They want my blood. They want to see me naked in a cage. I know it's true. They'll not fight among themselves until I'm dead.
Only for this? Only to gain time?
So, in your opinion, I ought to have killed myself years ago for the sake of the German populace?
Maybe I never knew you. I've never understood you.
Of course not. What do you think, you stupid girl? How could you have understood anything? You're only a woman without any brains. You lived close to me. Isn't that enough for you? You're a mere nothing. If history remembers you at all, it will only be because I was generous and married you. You don't feel any gratitude, do you? You betray me too, silly, presumptuous, insolent bitch. You have betrayed me!
The heart of Germany has ceased to beat. The Führer is dead.